Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today on this beautiful Monday afternoon. Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous out there. The sun is shining. It's not too hot. It's just perfect. A wonderful, beautiful Monday afternoon on this 17th day of April, January, March, April, less than 4 months. Jesus, Lord, what a time to go, y'all. Y'all remember when y'all was small, how long it took for Christmas to come?
Yeah.
And used to feel like, wow, 10 years between each Christmas? Mm-hmm. Boy, the older you get, the faster time goes. These days and months and weeks and are just flying by. So just grateful to God that we're here on this beautiful Monday afternoon. And so before I introduce our professor who is going to help us to navigate through this Masterclass Monday, looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas, and I think we digressed in the last show that we did, and we started talking about the Bahamas Nationality Act, and figuring out that may be where the confusion lies in terms of some of the rulings that are made compared to the Constitution. So before I get into all of that, let's go ahead and tell you guys how you can get in on this conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or the WhatsApp line, which is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook, on the official Michelle Malcolm and the official Global 99.5 FM pages. We're also streaming live on YouTube, on our official channels. And of course, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. All right, so now that we've taken care of that, y'all recognize our man sitting over there, right? Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson has joined us once again to continue our journey through the Constitution of the Bahamas, helping us to understand what the supreme law of the land says as it relates to your rights and responsibilities as a citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and even as a resident. Anybody who finds themselves within this jurisdiction called the Bahamas, there's something in this Constitution for you. And so we're going through this because we find that many people are unaware of what their rights and responsibilities are as it relates to the Constitution of the Bahamas, which is sad considering that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So it behooves you to know what's in that document because it's affecting you whether you realize it or not. And so it just makes sense that you would be aware of what your rights and responsibilities are. So you don't confuse our Constitution with the Constitution of some other country and then bring that here and expect us to live by that. When as a sovereign nation, we already have our own Constitution that speaks very authoritatively about what we are about and how we will run our affairs. So it's important that you know what's in this document so that you can understand how you can best benefit from it. So, Professor, welcome back to GPS.
Well, thank you, Ms. Malcolm, and good evening, Bahamas. It's good to be here on a Monday. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. And it just goes to show you how God is so good to the people of the Commonwealth of Bahamas, in spite of our challenges, in spite of our difficulties. But Bahamas, let me just say that we have some very serious, very, very serious problems in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We can get them solved, but as Ms. Malcolm said earlier in the show, you need to know your Constitution because some people got some things all mixed up. It's unfortunate that misinformation about our Constitution is spiraling out of control in this country. At a time, it's interesting, at a time when people want to know the truth, they want to understand, they want to know what does the Constitution say.
Yeah.
Now, people have their right to their opinion, their ideas, their suggestions, their comments. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not law. Constitutional law is different from an opinion from any particular personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's important that you understand what your rights, your freedoms, your privileges are. And unfortunately, like I said, we have, while people are asking a lot of questions, I know every time when I go, people just crowd me and ask me a whole lot of questions. My sister have to tell me it's time to go. But the point is that I am delighted to see that people are interested in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. But Bahamas, I'm going to tell you right now, we have to get deeply interested because there are forces of wickedness and corruption that are trying to destroy the Bahamas as we know it today. And they're pulling out all stops to make sure that they have their way instead of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And you have people that are devious to that. So we have to be very, very careful. So your knowledge of the Constitution is very important. And just not knowing it is one thing, being able to apply it is another thing. And you're going to need a lot of help in being able to know how to organize yourselves on the ground in your particular area where you live. Because Bahamians, we're going to have some serious challenges. It's closer than I thought. In fact, it's on us right now. I would have thought we would have had a little space, but these fellas are so wicked that they're trying to do every possible thing they could to take the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in a direction that we don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know, you have to understand, and you're going to be called upon to assist because it's not a one-man job. See, I'm an individual. I have a lot of support, particularly from the women. Let me put in the plug for the women of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas,
Mm-hmm.
who assist Professor Thompson all the time in getting these lectures ready and prepared. And they are good workers. And I am so grateful for Bahamian women who make the men look good. I tell the men that all the time. So you out there attacking women and doing foolishness and nonsense, you got to stop the crap. Because we need the women. I can't function without the women. I might as well tell you that right now. I wouldn't even be on the show were it not for these quality Bahamian women working behind the scenes, making sure the professor has the correct information, the right information to give to the public. So that's where we are now.
That's another show, Professor, because
Yes,
you know
it is.
some fellas just get a little upset when you talk about women and the role that they should be playing and are playing. They take that personal. They don't hear nothing about no woman. So you know.
Yeah.
You Marshall, go on there. But anyhow, let's stay focused.
Yeah, we got to stay focused. Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't do the show obviously last week because of the holiday.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple of weeks since we have done the show. And the last show that we did, we had sort of digressed a bit to look at the Bahamas Nationality Act, which I
Yes,
do
we
have
did.
here, a copy that you asked me to hold on to.
Yeah.
Now, before I go on, let me just say this. If you haven't already done so, your homework is to go to Google, type in Bahamas Constitution, download that to your smart device, laptop, cell phone, whatever it is, and have it handy so that you can go through it with us and review it after the fact. Okay? I don't want this to be an exercise where every Monday you come here and you listen to us and you get entertained, and then you leave from the show and everything what we talk about you forget and you ain't got no way of reviewing it. And no, this ain't for entertainment. The whole point here is for you to get some information that can benefit you in your life.
Yes.
And so the Bible talk about study to show yourself approved. You need to study the Constitution as well. Because otherwise, how can you know what you're entitled to? We have a lot of people right now in this country who are unnecessarily suffering because they don't understand what their rights are. And I want us to get to the point where we had a call on the show last week. I think it was Bremen who called and said, those of you who know the Constitution need to sue the government. And my response to him was, y'all need to sue the government or we? In other words, why are you sitting back? And this goes not just to Bremen, but to everybody listening to this show. Why are you sitting back expecting professor to be the lead or somebody else to be the lead, and you ain't willing to do your own research and get in on the fight to improve this country? That's the biggest problem that we have, that everybody wants to sit back and watch while somebody else goes out there and does the work, and then you benefit from it, but that person is pretty much slaughtered because they were brave enough to stand alone to try to make a difference. That foolishness got to stop in this Bahamas in 2023.
No, I certainly agree with you. And I have an article 24.1, which concurs with what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way how the Constitution is designed, the Constitution forbids me to try to take on an issue by myself.
Okay.
It's a collective responsibility. It takes the collective will of a people to bring change in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we're going to need that strong support on the ground from the average citizen in this country, because they number into the tens of thousands of Bahamians.
Mm-hmm.
And by giving them correct, precise, accurate information, they will be able to understand it in simple, basic, fundamental language, what it is that is going to be done, what needs to be done, and how they can make their contribution as a
Right.
citizen
Right.
of the Commonwealth. of
Because
Bahamas.
as you often say on the show, everybody needs to know, what their rights and responsibilities and
Yes.
role is. And this is why it's important that we get this information to all citizens, every community, every constituency,
Yes.
so that they can come together as a group and act within the tenets of the Constitution.
Right. See, I always tell people, once you act constitutionally,
Hmm.
you will always be correct.
Right.
Don't mind what people say or think or what they may even do. The Constitution is always right. It is never, ever wrong.
Hmm.
And people need to understand that. You may disagree with certain things in the Constitution. That's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Hmm.
But the Constitution being the supreme law of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, every law has to be looked at through that big mirror, the Constitution. It must be screened, it must be analyzed, it must be examined according to that. And anything that is contrary to the Constitution, whether it's a statute law, an international law, a regional law, it is null and void. It cannot fit in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
So the reason why we sort of digressed and started looking at the Bahamas Nationality Act is because you believe that many of the decisions that have been made in the country were made based on the Nationality Act, which in some cases may contradict or confuse, contradict I think is a better word, what is said within the Constitution.
That is correct. Because you see, statute law cannot supersede constitutional law. There may be some who've taken certain things unto themselves by a statute law, and when you compare it with the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas, you come to see this ultra vires the Constitution. It contradicts the Constitution. So right there, when it contravenes the Constitution, at that point, it is null and void. Even though they may have passed it, they may put the seal on it, it means absolutely nothing. And that's what people need to understand. But the only way you're going to know it is if you know your Constitution. Now, if you don't know your Constitution, you won't be able to analyze it. Now, I am so glad that God led me to study the Constitution. And having done that and understanding it, I take nothing for granted, even though I spend a lot of time in it. I take it very, very seriously when I prepare for these shows because I don't want to miss anything. I want to be as accurate and precise as I possibly can be. If you ask me a question that I don't know, I'll tell you I have to look into that and see what the Constitution says, because not all things you're going to remember off the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have to go back and get a constitutional answer. Now, when you call the show, you're not going to get an opinion from Professor Thompson. He doesn't have an opinion as far as the show and the teaching of the Constitution is concerned, even though it is constitutional for him to have an opinion because it's allowable under the Constitution.
Right.
But that opinion that I may have or that you may have, that idea, that suggestion, that comment may not be lawful in the sense that it is constitutionally sound. Now, people who have this information, they ought to be constitutionally sound. If you're not constitutionally sound, that means you contravene the Constitution. And it's your opinion, but don't try to make it seem as if it is law, because it's not. It's not based on law.
So let me ask you this, Professor, and I guess you can answer this to the best of your ability. They're the same people who wrote the Constitution. Are they the same people who wrote the Bahamas Nationality Act, as far as you're aware, or no?
That is a good question. Excellent question that you asked. I'm looking into that now. I don't have all the facts on it, but it is quite possible, seeing how close they are to each other, 73 and July of 73, supposed to come into July the 10th, 1973. It is quite possible because the same personalities were in the House of Assembly. They didn't change from the 72 election. Now, all of them may not have agreed, but we have to get the accurate and precise information as to who was there when this Nationality Act came up, because I didn't even know it even existed. So I'm going by the Constitution, and then when I look at this document, I say, wow, here are so many things in it that contravenes the Constitution, and here they're talking about citizenship.
Constitution was written when?
July the 10th, 1973, when it came into effect.
Right. But when was it
June.
drafted?
I think it was June. I think it might have been a year before, because remember now,
Okay.
there was some time when they had the election, 1992. They went to London, so 1972, I'm sorry. Let me get the dates right now. 72, and then it came into effect 75. So you're looking at a few years up in there by the time it came into effect for 73.
Okay, I asked that because like you said, there's some things within the Nationality Act that are, not the same as what appears in the
In the
Constitution.
Constitution. Yes.
And I'm wondering if the same people wrote both, why would they do that? Why would they put something in the Nationality Act that they should have known would be in contradiction to
The Supreme Law.
do
That's
you think they wrote the Constitution and then realized there was some things in there that they didn't quite want to remain, and so they come up with the national? I'm trying to figure out how this happened.
How this happened? Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, and I have to do a little bit more research on it, because I'm wondering myself, why is the Nationality Act so in contravention to the Supreme Law, where a minister abrogates certain powers unto himself that the Constitution doesn't afford him? And that's a problem. That is a big, big problem in the country. And people getting citizenship under the Nationality Act
Who not entitled to it based on the Constitution?
Not entitled to it, yes, based on the Constitution. It poses a big problem. And so we have to look at that very seriously, because you must meet all the qualifying standards that the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas presents for you. There's some that's automatic, where people are born, and there's some that have to be tested, that have to be tried, have to be proven, meaning they have to apply. The possibility exists that you may not get it.
We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle, how you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Professor, what's up?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. Michelle and Professor, as it relates to the Constitution, it was written on February 19, 1973, taken before the Queen on the 20th of February of the same year, and it was passed on the 26th of June. It was taken to the Queen on June 20th and was passed on the 26th of June, 1973. The Bahamas Nationality Act came 9 days later, and it was passed on July 5th, 1973. What basically happened, Paul Ladley and Loftus Roker outsmarted them. Let me say why. The Nationality Act was written by them, but it appears that the Queen subjects from the Privy, after they realized what was in the Constitution in relation to the Queen allowing her people that she certified under the 1948 British Nationality Act, Articles 3 subsection 3C and Article 4 subsection B left them out. That has to do with renunciation from another country.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they were scrambling to try to get the Queen subjects in.
Okay.
Because you got to understand, the only people that the Constitution recognized was the ones from the Immigration 1967 Act. That's who they honored, the Constitution. But the Constitution never honored the Queen subjects. So the 1948 Nationality Act got left in the dark.
Okay.
So the 1948 British Nationality Act got left in the dark. What the Bahamas Nationality Act is an imposter. It hijacked the Constitution, right? How do we know this? Chapter 1, paragraph 2. The Constitution is the supreme law of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Right.
Subject to the provision of this Constitution. If any other law is inconsistent to this Constitution, the Constitution shall prevail, and the other law shall be null and void.
That's what it says.
Article 5 and Article 9 is the articles that they use to certify non-Bahamians, right?
Mm-hmm.
In both of those articles, they don't allow you to renounce. Or if you cannot renounce, they're saying all you have to do is declare to the minister. That's garbage. Because why is it garbage, Michelle and Professor? Because Article 7.1 tells you that unless you renounce, you can't become a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
But here comes the Bahamas Nationality Act, contradicting the Supreme Law and saying, man, no, listen to the Constitution. If the country of origin that you're from does not allow you to renounce, the minister can sort you out. It's inconsistent. All right? And the flip side of that, if those persons aren't able to renounce, and they hold on to their citizenship, and we give them Bahamian citizenship, that's dual citizenship. That's not allowed. There again, it's unconstitutional.
Wow.
You know, so they need to just burn that document up. That's an imposter. It has a lot of inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
You can go a step further, you know, like the professor was saying. The Constitution has 14 articles. Within the 14 articles, 8 of them make you a citizen. Article 3, 4, 6, and 8 gives you automatic citizenship. Article 5, 7, 9, and 10, you are entitled to register. It's an application process. The Bahamas Nationality Act does not have authorization from the Constitution to make no citizenship law. The only thing the Bahamas Nationality Act can do is make a provision to help the law. Say, for instance, the law is if you commit murder, you go into jail. Mm-hmm. That's the law.
Mm-hmm.
The Nationality Act was supposed to say when you go into jail and for how long. But it cannot say, no, you ain't going to jail no more. Because the Supreme Law says you're going to jail.
Right.
It's just a matter of proviso, when and how long.
Mm-hmm.
What the Bahamas Nationality Act has done, it has hijacked the Constitution from the pilot seat and put it riding in coach.
Wow.
Here's another inconsistency at the Immigration Department. It goes along with the Bahamas Nationality Act. Form 3 and Form 6, they are inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Form 3 says that if you miss applying at your 19th birthday, you can still apply and get that. Then the Constitution says attaining the age of 18 and within 12 months. That's unconstitutional.
Right.
It's unconstitutional. So how we allow this nonsense is unbelievable.
Well, caller, I really appreciate you calling with this information today. I'll tell you how we allow it. We allow it because of the very fact that Bahamians don't know what's in that Constitution.
Yeah.
And so this is why they ain't teaching it in the schools. Yeah. This is why you're not hearing, because they figure, let's keep them ignorant. If you don't know, you don't know. So this is why I think it's important for us to have these Masterclass Monday shows so we can bring the information to the people so you could know better.
Michelle, here is the trauma in all of this. Based on the case in the United States, I believe it's Shelby versus I forgot the last name. It's now international law. If something is unconstitutional, it must be that particular law never existed. So here's the problem. Any individual who receives certification under the Bahamas Nationality Act, their citizenship is null and void. That's the law. So if you were granted citizenship under that act, Article 9 or Article 5 of the Bahamas Nationality Act, using Form 3 or Form 6 under the Bahamas Immigration Act, because that's how both of them work. The application form comes from immigration, and then the Nationality Act unconstitutionally certifies you. So if you receive citizenship under that act and not under the Constitution, you're basically not a Bahamian citizen. That's the cold facts. Anyway, thanks for allowing me to talk, Michelle.
Thank you, caller. That's some good information that you brought there. This is becoming interestinger and interestinger.
Yes.
And I know that's not a word, people, okay? So don't call you talking about my English. Wow. We have to take a break, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
Does it even make sense to go through this Nationality Act if at the end of the day it doesn't matter in comparison to the Constitution? Does it even make sense to go through it? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here, along with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm pages, also streaming live on YouTube. You can call in at 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, or the WhatsApp line to call or send a text is 801-0271, 801-0271, and we are also streaming live on Cable Bahamas, airing live, I should say, on Cable Bahamas channel 974. Okay, so that last caller brought some really powerful information with regard to why these two documents, seemingly in contradiction of each other, are allowed to stand side by side, even though one of them is supposed to be the preeminent, the supreme law of the land, namely the Constitution. Now, the caller, and you would have heard Professor and I talk about countries that you cannot renounce your citizenship.
That's correct.
I have a list of those countries. These are the countries that do not allow renouncing of dual citizenship it's almost impossible to renounce these citizenships. And here are those countries: Morocco, Argentina, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Guatemala, Haiti, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Niger, Panama, Qatar, Tonga, Uruguay, the Vatican, and Yemen. Those are the countries that do not allow you to renounce citizenship. I find it interesting that the Vatican is in there.
As a nation.
Okay.
As a church nation.
Okay.
That's very peculiar. You'll have to deal with that at another time.
Yeah. That sounds like that'll be a good show.
Oh, I think it will be.
Yeah.
It will be. But let me just say, the question that you asked, it's a very interesting question that you asked. You might want to repeat it for the benefit of the audience.
Which question?
The question that you asked prior to going into the break about the Nationality Act as versus the Constitution.
Why it's allowed to stand side by side?
Should we go into it?
Should we go into it?
Yeah, that's what you would ask.
Okay.
And I'll answer it this way.
Okay.
The Bahamian people have to be aware of what the government of the Bahamas is doing,
Mm-hmm.
what the Parliament of the Bahamas is doing, because
Mhm.
Parliament makes the laws.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bahamian people have a right to correct that government, to correct that Parliament if they step out of line.
Okay.
They have that authority under Article 24.1 to protect their interests. Now, in this country, since a lot of us do not know, and we cannot keep saying we don't know or we stay not knowing,
Mm-hmm.
we're having some very serious challenges to the very survival of this country,
Mm.
where the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is under serious attack by certain personalities with very devious plans to try to usurp the authority of the supreme law.
Okay.
And they will use every kind of means to do so. So we have to watch what the government is doing. We ought to question the authorities when they do things that we know that are unconstitutional. We cannot just sit back and allow it to be.
Okay.
If we continue in that trend, we will end up losing our country, and we don't even know when we'll have lost it. Right now, we are on very shaky grounds. And I am aware of what's happening, what's going on, and I'm learning more and more about it, but I know how to protect the interests of the Bahamian people.
Mhm.
But one particular personality cannot do it of himself or by herself.
Right.
That's not the way the Constitution says it must work. It takes the collective will of a people to bring the required changes that are necessary. In fact, let me give you 4 points that cause this rise up and interest by the people of the Bahamas 50 years later in their constitution. The death of Her Majesty the Queen,
Mm-hmm.
the ascension of Prince Charles to King Charles III, I think it is, to the throne. Internal pressures, extreme external pressures on the Bahamian people happening in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and external pressures by forces outside this country on the government and the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Those 4 factors have pushed the Bahamian people to ask themselves, is there any other way? Is there anything we can do to save the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as we know it today? See how beautiful the weather is out there?
Mm-hmm.
That's how our country ought to be. But we have a responsibility to protect our interests. We just cannot sit by and allow people to just do their own thing. We won't have a country if we don't stand up and fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to know how to fight. You have to be properly armed, properly equipped. And so the Bahamian people will be informed as to what they ought to do, how they can be very effective, because it takes the collective will of a people. And some things are in the works right now. And I'm going to be involved in it. I could say that publicly now.
Mm-hmm.
because there are some other people involved. And it's amazing to see how people are taking an active interest in the Constitution. I am so delighted. I waited 50 years, Ms. Malcolm, for this day to come. And I am so excited every time I go and I hear people talking about their constitutional rights. These are the average Bahamians on the ground, and they're seeking correct and precise information, while at the same time, there are forces out there that are trying to deceive and mislead the Bahamian people to move them away from the stability that we have in this country, the quiet spirit of the Bahamian people. You talk about the quiet revolution. There was a revolution, but it was a quiet one, not like them other places out there. And so we have a legacy to protect all the way from 1729 right on up to now, the last one being September the 16th, 2021, okay, where we had changes in the administration of government in this country. And I believe, and if there's anyone else there who has any contrary information, I believe from the facts that I have, the Bahamas is the only nation that has such an incredible record, almost 300 years old. And Bahamians, we have to protect that. We cannot allow people to push us into some areas which will create pandemonium, confusion, strife, chaos, and downgrade the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, we know how to make changes, and we can do it peacefully. We have always been doing it that way. And this last election was the most quietest, the most peaceful that I've ever seen from the beginning. And so the Bahamian people have the ability to do it. Now, they just need to be properly educated so we can go to the next level to be able to make some changes, because Bahamians, we have to make some changes to our own constitution. I want to let you understand and know that, because there are some people that are working so assiduously like a snake in the grass, and they will do any and everything to get their agenda to overturn the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Do not take that lightly. It's very, very serious. The very survival of the country is at stake.
Okay, that's a mouthful, Professor. That's a mouthful. Okay, so all of that is saying to say we need to go through the Nationality Act. People need to know what's in that.
Yes, I believe the Bahamian people ought to see the difference between the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is the supreme law, and what the government of the Bahamas through the parliament has done, and what the government itself is doing now with these fraudulent papers, which have no basis in law, because the Constitution doesn't support it. You can't have a minister standing up, or the government in this case, standing up and doing things that are totally contrary to the Constitution, and nobody questions it, nobody challenges it. You have other personalities that are doing some funny things in the country, and Bahamians, we have to challenge it. But you have to know in order to be able to challenge effectively and efficiently. See, I always say, are you constitutionally sound? Well, Bahamians, if you're not constitutionally sound, you're dead wrong. It's just that simple. If it is your opinion, then tell the people it's your opinion. If you believe something, say, I believe that, or that's my personal opinion, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But when you come across as if it is law, I have a big, big problem with that. Very big problem with that. Because there's a vast difference between constitutional law and statute law. Big, big difference. So we have to know and we have to understand that the government of the Bahamas is wrong. And we can prove that they are wrong. You as Bahamians have to prove that they are wrong based on the supreme law of the land. That's what you stand on. And if you stand on that, you will always be right. Don't mind what they say. Don't mind what they think. That doesn't mean anything. Don't mind the noise they make in the market. The Constitution will knock them straight down because it cannot stand based on constitutional law.
Okay. So the last show we did, we started with the interpretation, I believe,
Yeah, people on the interpretations
of the
of the
Nationality
Nationality Act. yes.
Act.
We didn't complete the interpretation.
I'm trying to see how far we got.
I think we went as far as the, I think they talked about the Commonwealth. Commonwealth, which
Commonwealth
has a different
means
mean, and say what it means in that.
okay. So according to the Nationality Act, Commonwealth means the Bahamas, any country mentioned in the first schedule, and any dependency of any such country, and Commonwealth country shall be construed accordingly.
Let me just say that to that. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas mentions the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, I see how you could lump an independent, theocratic, democratic, sovereign, independent state with them other fellas. I have a problem with that, Ms. Malcolm.
Okay.
Okay? The Bahamas is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So don't get us mixed up with them other funny things. That's a whole author of a different color.
Okay.
The Constitution speaks about those who are part of the British Commonwealth, who were born in the Bahamas, who were living in the Bahamas at that time, and how they can have citizenship. It also speaks to the Immigration Act, people who were working here. And that only applies to a very limited number of people, because many of them just going home. They didn't stay in the Bahamas. So we didn't have a problem with the British. But we have a problem with a stranger, a foreigner, an alien, an outsider that never, ever was a part of the British Commonwealth. How we get mixed up like that? How all of a sudden we got a nation that was never, ever a part of the British Commonwealth got so much say in our business? How did that happen? Something's wrong with that. And you have to go all the way back to the beginning, because some strange things went down which were not constitutional. That's why you see the trend going on today. You can't correct it unless you correct it constitutionally, because the Constitution speaks very specific, very succinct about citizenship. And if we handle it carelessly, you have a flood of people in here talking about their citizens. Somebody writes something on one piece of paper and say you're a citizen, can't even speak the language, don't know the language. See, we got to establish and make an amendment in our Constitution, the official language of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. See, there are some things, Ms. Malcolm, I have to tell the Bahamian people we have to do. We have to have some definitions in that Constitution. Woman, man, child, boy, girl. What do those things mean? Because don't be surprised if a particular personality, when the Constitution says any woman, well, we know what woman is. But then this particular personality supposedly is a woman. And you may have a liberal-minded personality who is going to make a decision and create a whole world of problems for the Bahamian people, just on the word woman.
I don't want us to lose track, right? But on that note, I was doing some research over the weekend for a future show. And there is a situation in, I think it's the United States, where a transgender woman who hasn't completed the transition as yet. So they still got some male parts that are quite visible. So they go into this woman's store to shop, I guess, for, I don't know if it was tight-fitting clothing, I believe it was. I think it was some tight-fitting pants or jeans or something like that.
Yes, ma'am.
And the anatomy that was still there was protruding.
Yes.
And so obviously people were staring at this individual like, well, what you doing in here? This a woman's department. And so this person is now advocating that we protect the bulge for women. And Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, who transitioned from male to alleged female. And I gotta say alleged because as a naturally born woman, I take issue to you believing that all you gotta do is stick on some fake breasts and cut open a particular piece of anatomy, and that makes you the same as me. I got a problem with that, but that's another show.
Big problem.
That's another show. So anyway, Caitlyn Jenner comes forward and says, enough is enough. This is absolutely ludicrous. If Caitlyn Jenner could come forward, there we go. That's another show. Let me stay focused. Protect the bulge for women. Dude, if you got a bulge, what you mean protect it for? Anyway, let me stay focused. See, you caused me to get on a road.
Yeah, but see, but let me just say this and then we can move on. Ms. Malcolm, I believe we should not wait in the Commonwealth of Bahamas
until that come here.
Because we're going to be in serious trouble. It's going to be difficult to correct it when you allow it to get too far. It's not that it can't be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot be sitting by and allowing certain personalities and certain issues to overtake us when we could see down the road that something is about to happen. Why don't you take preventative measures? You can see the car coming down the road. Get out of the way so it doesn't hit you or kill you. And I'm saying in the Bahamas, there are some things that are wide open in our Constitution. We are going to have constitutional changes in order to protect the interests of Bahamian people. I can stop right there. You don't have any choice.
All right. Okay. We're going to stop right there for real and take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue to look at the interpretation. That's what you call it, right?
Yes.
The interpretation of the Bahamas Nationality Act. This is GPS on a Masterclass Monday. My guest is Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after
Your
this.
body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Man, Professor's so deep in conversation, I haven't even realized commercial break finished. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. You can call into the show, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, or 801-0271, 801-0271. That's the WhatsApp line that you can call or text us. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and the official Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. Let everybody know that we are in the midst of another Masterclass Monday on the Constitution with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. We're also streaming live on YouTube on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm channels. And you can catch us on Cape of Bahamas, channel 974. So, and I still like to say you ain't got no excuse. And obviously, we're also on radio on Global 99.5 FM. So, however you tune in, but share the good news that we are on the air. And especially on a Monday, this is the day you want to tune in to learn about your rights and responsibilities under the Constitution of the Bahamas. I believe we have a call on the line. Yes? Caller, welcome to GPS.
Ms. Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
A pleasant good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Great. Professor Thompson.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen.
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 Professor, before I begin, I'd like to just hail Pleasant Bridgewater, the Bridgewater family, my favorite people.
Yes.
Professor, before I begin, can I ask you what become of Lady Russell and how she's doing?
Yes, I can say that I saw Lady Russell a few days ago. She's doing quite well. She was in hospital. She got excellent attention for the problem she had. She's out now. I met her. We had a nice talk. And she's moving along and she's recovering very well.
Oh, I am so elated that you bring me up to date on that because I had no knowledge that she was going through a problem. I know she just disappeared.
Yes.
You know, I'm blind, so I can't get around like that.
Yes.
And I got another question for you. C.B. Moss, Bishop C.B. Moss, you heard any update on it?
Caller, we talking serious business about the Constitution, and you calling to find out how this one and the next one doing? Do you have a question as it relates to the Constitution?
I'm sorry, Lady Malcolm. I got to get right to the point.
Please.
Now. Okay. Professor.
Yes, sir.
In the Bahamas, is it not against the law for sissyism and gays and all this stuff? Man going to man, woman going with woman? Isn't that not against the law in the Bahamas?
That is an interesting question that you asked.
I'm trying to get at something very important.
I wasn't ready for that one. Anyhow, I will repeat it. Go ahead, Professor, answer his question.
These are very important issues.
Oh my God.
This is a nationwide problem that we need to nip in the butt in the Bahamas. That will affect every single soul in the Bahamas.
Caller, you asked a very good question.
Even though you're making up words as you go along, but anyhow, go ahead, Professor. Answer his question, please. My God.
Well, let's put it this way. The Constitution allows for freedom for people to do certain things. I don't know of any specific law that addresses it. It's a funny situation. And I think that the Bahamian people are going to have to make some decision. Now, if you ask me from a constitutional point of view, if we're going to go by the Constitution, and we ought to, the Constitution cannot support those things that you just mentioned, because we are a nation under God. The Holy Bible does not support that kind of lifestyle.
But there is no written law. I think it's a matter of fact. There once was a law to say it was against the law to have sexual relations with another person of the same sex, and that was changed. That law was changed. So I don't know if that answers your question, caller.
The point I'm trying to make, right? We have to bear in mind that we are drifted away from God's law, and we drifted far away from Him. We was cut off from Him. He had to send His only begotten Son,
yes,
Jesus Christ, here to suffer, bled, and die for us to find our way back to the throne of grace. And I don't think that is going to happen again. So we already know, and our eyes are open, so we need to stay in tune with God's law. You see, nothing's supposed to override God's law. And this stuff that we're going on with is abomination in the sight of God. And we're going to bring condemnation on the Bahamas. That's my concern.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you too, Mom.
All righty. Shall we get back to the subject at hand, or you want to respond to that?
No,
caller
let me
first,
respond to that, because see, the thing is, the caller has a very serious concern.
Mm-hmm.
We are a nation under the supremacy of God. That's clearly spelled out in the Constitution. There are certain principles that God has approved of.
Mm-hmm.
If we go contrary to that, it will bring, as he said, condemnation on the nation.
Mm-hmm.
There are what you call national sins. There are also family sins. There are also personal sins. And if we were to make any legislation in regards to those things that are contrary to God's way of life and God's standard, because some funny things out there happening right now, it will bring condemnation on the nation. But the privacy of an individual with his lifestyle or whatever, that's permitted. But do not bring condemnation on the entire nation, because you are pushing an agenda that the majority of the Bahamian people do not want, do not subscribe to. And so we just have to stand up and fight it. We have to tell our legislators that is not the way for the Bahamas. Call to their remembrance what's in the Constitution. The supreme law of the land, a nation under God. There are some things we cannot accept when we're under God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get back to this interpretation of the Bahamas Nationality Act.
Yes.
Okay, so we covered Commonwealth.
Yes, we did.
What according to the Nationality Act that means. Now, next it says Commonwealth citizen means a citizen of a Commonwealth country.
Yes.
Constitution means the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Foreign country means a country that is not a part of the Commonwealth. Okay? Government means the government of the Bahamas. Minister means minister responsible for nationality and citizenship. Minor means a person who has not attained the age of 18 years. Prescribed means prescribed by regulations under this act. So if we move on now to general clauses. Number 3, 1 and 2 were actually the name.
Two.
The name. The 1 was the name of the act, and 2 was the short title, and 2 was the interpretation. So now 3 general clauses. For the purpose of this act, and for those of you just joining us, we're talking about now the Nationality Act. In relation to stacking it against the Constitution of the Bahamas. Okay, so 3 general clauses. 3 says, 1, for the purposes of this act, a person shall be of full age if he has attained the age of 18 years and of full capacity if he's not of unsound mind.
Now, I'll stop right there. Who determines what is an unsound mind? We have to find out what that means. And you talk about a person of full age. Now, the Constitution says, as it relates to citizenship, now remember now, this whole thing is revolving around citizenship of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Remember now, when you go back to the beginning of the act, the 4 things: certification, renunciation, and 2 other things that are mentioned there in the act. It has to do with this citizenship of the Bahamas. So every time when you look at anything that they say in this act, it's referring to citizenship. Now, full age, 18 years and over. Now, the Constitution says full age 18, but up to 19. You can't go beyond 19.
Right.
Now, in this act, they go way beyond 19. Notice what they said, full age 18 and over.
Right. So there's no limitation.
So right there, that's a problem. That's a big problem right there. Okay? So it's ultra vires the Constitution. Now, if they said 18, 12 months after 19, fine, the door shuts. That's what the Constitution said. You can't have an act saying that this is what we're going to do when the Constitution doesn't allow you to do it. You have no constitutional authority to put that in there like that. Because remember now, you're dealing with citizenship. That's the whole purpose of this act, is to deal with citizenship, certification, and so on, and giving people citizenship. So we got to always see, I keep thinking in my head, anytime when you say anything from that act, I keep thinking
you compare it to the Constitution.
Exactly. So right there, that's a flaw. That's a flaw right there. 18, yes, no problem with that, but up to 19. That's the area, window of opportunity to deal with citizenship. That's it. You can't change that no way, shape, or form by no act.
Okay. All right. Let's continue. Number 2 says, for the purposes of this act, a person shall be deemed not to have attained a given age until the commencement of the relevant anniversary of the date of his birth. That seems pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Number 3, a person born out of wedlock and legitimated by the subsequent marriage of his parents shall, as from the date of the marriage or of the commencement of this act, whichever is later, be treated for the purposes of this act as if he had been born legitimate. But a person shall not be deemed to be so legitimated unless the law of the place where his father was domiciled at the date of the marriage operated immediately or subsequently so to legitimate him.
I think right there, that's too convoluted. I don't understand what they're talking about in that at all, period. Okay, that's seemed like a ball of confusion right in there. They need to clarify exactly what they mean by that. Because if a child is illegitimate, the child is illegitimate. That doesn't change. Now, the father, the mother could get married later on. There's nothing wrong with that. But still, it's an illegitimate child. It's still an illegitimate child. Because you see, they talk about some other funny things in there, which going to tie right into the same definition that they have. So one has to be very careful of the wording. And this one is so twisted up. The wording of the definition. I have a problem with that. Serious problem with it.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
I enjoy your Monday schooling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really, really, really do. Professor?
Thank you very much.
You were saying that the Nationality Act does not align with the Constitution. Did I hear that?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Has it been deliberately designed that way, or is it just accidental?
Let me put it to you this way. From what I know about them, it isn't accidental at all.
There were some smart fellas.
It's not accidental. Because see the time frame. See, the election was September of 1972. July the 10th, 1973, we became independent. So it was less than a year when they went to England, talked to the Queen, talked to the government over there, came back, passed it in June, I think he said it was, June 20th of 73, to come into effect July the 10th, 1973.
June
so it was a very
72, June 20th, 72.
72, yeah, right. 72, yeah, 73. And thanks for the correction.
Anyway, go ahead.
Thanks for the correction, because July the 10th, 1973 was when it came into effect. So the window of opportunity was very short, less than a year. Caller, you there?
I'm still here. No, I'm trying to ponder what you're saying, because I'm trying to determine which actually supersedes. One replaces the other. Does the Nationality Act replaces that section of the Constitution, or the Constitution?
It can't.
Impossible.
That's what we're discussing right now. It can't, because your Constitution is a supreme law.
See, caller, everything that you look at in law must line up with the Constitution. Okay. Where it lines up with the Constitution, you have smooth sailing. You ain't get no argument from me. But my God, if it ain't lining up, then it is my duty who understand and who know to say no. That is not according to law. Now, it may be someone's opinion that they had and they wrote one statute law. That's up to them. But if it doesn't line up with the Constitution, it's an error.
Professor, I haven't read the Constitution as thoroughly as you have, but is it possible that you can itemize and publish those items that don't line up with the Constitution, so the public could be more aware of the dilemma that we are facing? Persons actually trying to make these acts to supersede the Constitution. Are you able to publish that information so we could be more aware?
That's a very good question that you asked, but let me tell you something. This is the first one, and this happened by chance. I didn't really plan it. But when I got a hold of it, and we were doing constitutional classes there every Monday with Ms. Malcolm, I said, Ms. Malcolm, we got something here we need to discuss to the Bahamian people. You know what's going to happen, Caller, what you asked me to do? You know, all those laws that have been passed, the kind of time, effort, I got to have a whole team of people to check rigidly every single thing that the government of Bahamas has passed in those laws. See, even those things they sign internationally, those are some serious things they sign. You have to ask yourself, are they constitutionally sound? And you got to go through each one of them to make sure to see what it is. So I understand what you're saying. Professor, boy, that's a lot of work.
Professor, would that be the main reason why all of the governments of the day want to infiltrate us with persons who are not concerned about reading, who are on the wall, who are dependent, who are confused, who don't have a country, and then just populate us with that level of ignorance so we really don't dig up and discover their flaws and lock them all up?
Let's put it this way. I hear what you're saying, But I think we should have a bigger goal than that. Let's not get so hung up on what some other people are doing. I believe the Bahamian people have to make some hard decisions. What are we as Bahamians going to do to preserve this beautiful country for Bahamians?
Right.
We cannot allow a few individuals, there's only a couple of them, I know them very well, who are doing this foolishness and this nonsense, and we have the power to stop them.
Professor, don't forget, your camera is over here. Okay,
Oh, okay.
This right here. That's your camera right there.
The power to stop them.
Right here.
Okay, thank you.
So you should be looking in here.
Okay. The power to stop them, because the thing is that we can do it. So I wouldn't get too much concerned about the negative side of it, but I think we need to take it from a positive approach. We have to save this place. The Constitution is your salvation document. Without that, you don't have a country. And everything will go down the drain, and we can't let that happen.
Carl, I want to issue a challenge to you and everybody else out there who's listening to this show. And this was reiterated in my church this past Sunday, and then it was confirmed in some videos I was watching on YouTube, and this same message kept popping up. And I'm going to use as an example of the what I'm trying to explain from the Bible, from the a biblical perspective. Someone asked the question, because my pastor and others were talking about the keys to the kingdom, and why is it that when Jesus walked the earth, he didn't just plainly say what these keys were? Why did he always talk in parables, where you had to figure out what he was trying to say? Wouldn't it have just been easier if he had just come right out and said, okay, this is the deal? But no, everything that he taught, he spoke in parables. And so I came across this video this weekend, and I thought, whoa, this is deep. And what the person said in the video was why the Bible says seek, knock, ask, right? If you really, really want something, okay, let's use as an example. We know that there was some time when pirates ran around here in the Bahamas. This was the headquarters for pirates, right? And whenever they would come across a treasure, they wouldn't just leave it in the open for everybody to see. They would find some place, dig deep in the ground, and hide that treasure, right?
Right.
And in order for you today in 2023 to gain access to the treasure, what they would have buried and left there, and they done dead and gone, but that treasure's still there, you better try to pull out one shovel and start digging, right?
Right.
You got to seek that treasure. And that separates you, who really want to know it, who really wants to access that treasure, from somebody who say they want it, but they ain't able to grab that shovel. And so one of the reasons why Jesus would have spoken in parables, because you had to seek the answer to what he was trying to give you. In the same way, if we're serious about wanting to know what we're entitled to, just how you say, Professor, why don't you publish a comparison? Professor, you're the only one who got access to this information. This information is on the World Wide Web for everybody to download. And if we as a people really serious about uncovering this treasure, we got to pull out some shovels. We got to seek this knowledge. We can't just sit back and expect it to happen by osmosis. So if Professor can't do it, for whatever reason, it never gets done, we can sit back and wait another 50 years for somebody else to come forward with the passion that he has before we start digging? Or if we really want the treasure that lies within, are we going to get some shovels in our hand and we can start digging for that treasure?
Can I put it to you this way from a personal experience?
Please go ahead.
I had a friend of mine who was into treasures, and he didn't know that the money that he made from the treasures, it wasn't legal, and he had to hide it. So he didn't know how to properly wrap it up before he buried it in the ground. So when we went and dug it up, the money was useless.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering why can't we just seek the treasures that's within us and not what somebody else buried in the ground, and move with our treasures? Because if we go try and seek somebody else's parabolic treasure, we miss us.
Well, there's only one challenge to that, caller, as it relates to the Constitution. You could dig up all the treasure from it in yourself if you want to, but if you got to go before a court of law, they came by the Constitution. So when I say court of law, if there's a decision that has to be made from a legal perspective,
with a good lawyer, I went.
You gotta go according to. So you could have. Listen, I could have all the treasure within me that I want, but according to the law of this land, the Constitution of the Bahamas is the treasure. Now, I'm not talking from a spiritual perspective. I only use that as an example to show you what to try to explain what I was trying to explain as it relates to the legality and knowledge of what is contained within the Constitution. In other words, we all are responsible for digging deep into this document, because until it is changed by way of some kind of referendum or whatever, this is the supreme law of the land.
And be doomed if it doesn't change.
So if you could afford to have it, then you all kind of,
That's why I prefer to make more money in Haiti than in the Bahamas, because it's the place where I'm born, where I should be able to do so. I can't. But in Haiti, there seems to be a greater potential for persons with talent.
Right.
So you see where the treasure is? The treasure is really not in this constitutional Bahamas constitution. It's for us to go out and seek other countries. And that's, I think, would be missing, because other people are seeking this country because it's better than their country. But the country that they're leaving, I can go there and do better than they are.
Well, that's unfortunate that.
That's the treasure.
That's unfortunate, because if everybody abandoned our country, then,
But if you keep flooding us with people who are abandoning their countries, then this really is clear.
But the whole point of these shows is to educate us to the fact that we don't have to allow that to continue to happen.
I agree with you.
You see?
I agree with you.
But we can't just sit back, not want to pull out the shovel, and then complain when people who know we ain't pulling out the shovel, know we ain't seeking deeper, continue to do things in contrary to the Constitution, and we sitting back complaining, but we ain't willing to pull out no shovel.
Yeah, because other people keep pulling out shovels in our ground. Bahamians don't want to do that kind of shoveling.
Well,
and I find it more convenient to shovel somebody else's ground, because this ground is being depleted by others. That's all, face it.
Then let me tell you straight and plain, if you ain't willing to fight for it, you don't deserve to have it.
And that's why I'd rather go get something else, because this ain't mine no more. I didn't see it. Anyway, that's how I feel. And Professor, I really like listening to you. You really bring light. And I want you to continue your switch and add to this topic of the Constitution. But I tell you, my shovel going in somebody else's ground.
Well, thanks for your contribution.
Okay, all right.
All right, thanks for calling. Okay, we got to take a break, y'all. When we come back with this Masterclass Monday show, we're going to continue to look through the Bahamas Nationality Act. We're right now talking about the general clauses. And again, this is all relative to a comparison. We're only going through the Nationality Act to compare it to the Constitution to see where there is some kind of discourse. Because again, remember, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lear, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with mailboat to U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ms. Malcolm. I was listening to the show, and hello to Professor.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And to the Bahamas at large. I was listening to your show and really hearing your request or your putting forward for people to join this fight to keep the Bahamas Bahamian. But what I guess has me a little bit confused is we have people that have been standing up for issues in the Bahamas. And when I listen to certain radio programs, even maybe yourself, I don't see the support given to them to come together and to do what is necessary to save our Bahamas. And I am hoping that you'll be able to speak to that. Of course, we know the person on the front line right now would be considered to be Lincoln Bain. But there's been others in the past as well. And oftentimes with Bahamians, the first thing we do is we try to nitpick and pick apart their past or the things that they have done or the things that they have not been able to achieve. But, I don't see us coming together, especially when we're on the front line and we have the opportunity to highlight them, to push forward what is necessary and promising for the Bahamas.
I don't disagree with you, caller. We are still a very divided country, very tribalistic. We believe in our parties, whatever they may be, and no matter how much Bahamian people say they want change, they tell you that, but then they go to the polls and they keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I'm speaking as someone who in the last election decided to throw my hat in the ring, albeit very, very late in the game. So, Bahamian people just got to get over these tribes that they are part of, whether that be PLP, FNM, COI, whatever it is, and start thinking first and foremost about the protection and preservation of what is important to us as a nation. Now, yes, somebody has to lead the way.
Somebody has to lead the way. So my question remains, even to you yourself, why aren't we supporting persons like Lincoln Bain at this time to say, push forward, when we talk about the trust fund, for the Bahamian people, what is that called? The national, I don't remember.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund?
Sovereign Wealth Fund.
Yes, the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Why aren't you supporting him? I've heard numerous people ask you, why don't you have him on your show? Isn't that a part of
I've had
supporting?
Lincoln on my show. It's not like I've never had Lincoln on my show. Lincoln has been a guest on the show. Yeah, you all just missed the show. Matter of fact, when I had Lincoln on, I forget what we were talking about, specifically one issue. I don't remember what it was. And his people started to get angry with me when they wanted to take the show in another direction. And I said, no, that's not what we're talking about today. And I said to Lincoln, Lincoln, you ain't telling people why you come on the show today? Because I told him specifically what we were going to be talking about. And he agreed and he appeared on the show. So it's not like I've never had Lincoln on. I will repeat what I said the last time somebody called here saying, some gentleman called one day and said, what's happening in COI? And I said, I think you need to understand something. It is not my job to promote COI in Lincoln Bain. Lincoln does an excellent job of promoting himself and his party.
Yes, I
on
agree
Facebook.
with you that he is doing.
It's
They are
not
doing
my
that.
job to promote him. It ain't my job to promote the PLP. It certainly
No.
ain't my job to promote
But
the FNL.
how do we create unity in the fight? That's what I want to know.
Well,
it's not about promoting one party over the other. It is how do we promote the unity to get us back to the place that we need to be.
I wish I knew. If you know, let me know.
I would say
challenge in this
if I had
country.
the platform, I would certainly put those persons on who
But you
are
see, I
fighting for the
can't
cause.
just be privy to one particular party.
I agree with you. No, I'm not saying party, because even when Lincoln
individual
says it's not okay, I could hear you say that, but I'm not talking about a party. I'm just talking about the cause, and like you're doing with Professor, that's a part of it. And then the next part of my question is, y'all keep saying that we as Bahamians must go out there and fight the fight, but I don't hear any instructions. And maybe because I'm, one of those persons who aren't doing my part, but how do we start the fight? A lot of people are waiting to hear what is step A or what is step B or what direction can we take?
I think professors mentioned that several times in terms of the first step would be to get this knowledge, and the second step would be to make sure that it is distributed throughout the communities of the country so that collectively we can come together from a community level, put pressure on those that have been elected to represent us. And if they don't want to do what they need to do, then we do what we need to do. But I'll let Professor go ahead and do a better job than I just did.
Thank you. And I'll listen. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
I'm happy that she asked those questions. Those questions are pertinent questions. And she's asking very good questions. I have to give her a constitutional answer.
Okay.
Because the thing is, she's concerned, how do we do? How do we go? What are we supposed to achieve? The public is not getting, in her view, not getting clear instructions to take the necessary action. Let me just say that the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is your salvation document. No ifs, no ands, no buts.
No individual, no party.
We need to get unified.
Right.
So she asked about unity.
Beyond parties and
we have
individuals.
to be unified
Right.
through the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is the supreme law. That is the only thing that can unify. In fact, I asked this question some time ago.
Yeah, you did.
What is it that can unify the Bahamian people?
Yes.
You see all those people out there who are asking constitutional questions and they're not getting any real constitutional answers. You have some charlatans out there who have the use of a microphone and they are misleading the public. We know that. Now, here's what I have to say to you, ma'am, and to all others who are listening now. You have to be unified through the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The better you know it, the first order of business is to get understanding as best as you possibly can. And that's why I go to great lengths to break it down, explain it in simple, basic language. That's why Ms. Malcolm have me here every Monday. This is not an exercise for my health. But I love doing it because I know the Constitution. I've been trained in constitutional law. I am saying that's the first step. Educate it widely. Radio is probably the best medium to get information to the public. I'm not saying you shouldn't use television. I'm not saying you shouldn't use social media, but we have to take it one step at a time. There are others, ma'am, who are working behind the scenes, like I told Ms. Malcolm in this show. The women who work in the background to make Professor Thompson look good, I tell the men plainly, were it not for them, I wouldn't be on the show. They make sure that I have the information, everything is correct, they check everything, they come and say, Professor, this don't look right, and I look at it and examine it, and they make sure that everything is done according to the Constitution. Now, as long as you be constitutionally sound, that's good. Now, let me add this. The step after that is to be organized on the ground in your area. And you talk about organization, and Ms. Malcolm, I can give my numbers out.
Sure.
At this point? Yeah, okay. Ma'am, if you were talking about that aspect of it, that's step number 2. And I'm ready to do that right now, today, with any group of persons in a given area, constitutionally sound. 325-8652, 325-8652, 356, oh, I forgot the other number. It slipped my memory.
But give the first one again.
325-8652.
Okay, we have a comment from a Facebook viewer that I think encapsulates what we're trying to say here. Miko Knowles says the country and the Constitution is our common ground for unity. In other words,
praise the Lord.
Constitution does provide a provision that allows for exactly that, the unity.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you COI, PLP, FNM, DNA, it does not matter. If you follow the Constitution, it gives provision for that type of unity. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm just following up, I guess, the person who just read from that Facebook, more or less encapsulate what I was about to say.
Okay. Yes.
Because the Constitution deals with the Bahamian people.
Yes.
Not the PLP, not the FNF,
right?
The COI, not whatever ILD that comes into the picture.
Exactly.
Number one, the Constitution deals with Bahamian. Bahamians don't have any color. PLP has yellow, FNF red, etc. Bahamians don't have any color. I'm a Bahamian first,
All right? Bahamian first. I may make a choice to be an FNN, that's my choice, or I may choose to be a PLP or whatever party. But number one, I'm a Bahamian, and it's the only way that's going to be unified. The foundation has to be, number one, the Constitution should portray and promote the fact that we are Bahamian first. And then it needs to be spread throughout all the media. And your guest talked about the radio in particular. Because ZNS in particular is supposed to be the voice for the Bahamian people. So that should have been the number one outlet on getting this message to the rest of the Bahamian people. So the information should not be suppressed by whatever political persuasion, whoever may be at the helm. That's for feeding the purpose of what we are actually calling for unity. Constitution, Bahamian. Constitution, Bahamian. All the other stuff is secondary. Primary is Constitution and the Bahamian. And without this knowledge, like the word says, without knowledge, you perish.
Yes.
The lack of knowledge, you perish. And what should be happening even from the school, from the primary school, straight on up to college and out of college, we should understand that I am a Bahamian first. I'm not a PLB first. I'm not a FNM or CSI first. I am a Bahamian first.
Exactly.
And that needs to be communicated throughout every island in this country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Colin. You want to say something?
Oh, yes, I want to. I believe we're beginning to see some dividends from when you started the show, and that's a good thing. I have to be honest and open with Bahamian people. The Constitution being the supreme law, it is the only thing that can unify the Bahamian people. And I am happy that he said it. The text is sent in that text. It shows you that people are listening, they're learning. Now, the next step after they learn is to be organized on the ground through that Constitution.
Not through a particular party.
Not through a political party. See, we got to understand it. Not through one church organization. This fellow got one little church over there, got one little church. No. Way into that. We have to be organized, and this is where Professor comes in. Now, see, I got a lot of experience with this one. So those of you out there who do not understand, just give me a call. I'll be happy to meet with you and talk with you, because that's the next step, to be organized effectively and efficiently, constitutionally, on the ground, in that same area where you live. I've said, and I've said it on your show a number of times, I've known husbands and wives for 50 years or more. Didn't know they were husbands and wives. I get very close to the Bahamian people without getting personal in their business. Now, plenty of things they tell me I can't talk, because being the justice of the peace, you got to keep it quiet. All I'm saying is I have the experience, the training, the know-how. When it comes to organizing on the ground, that's where I come in, because that's very important. Having the knowledge is good. And I'm happy that those callers called in and they expressed that, what we were trying to tell the people from day one. So finally, it's getting through. And that's beautiful. I was so elated when people started asking constitutional questions. That's a good thing. I love it. Because anything you hear from me, my sister would say, what does the Constitution say? They're not interested in my personal opinion. That means nothing. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, that is the only thing that can unify Bahamians all over the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, without any exception.
All right, we have to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to wrap things up. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Longevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS. Only 2 minutes left in the show. Professor, your final thoughts for the show before we get out of here.
Ms. Malcolm, I am so delighted that the message is getting through. The texter and that caller, the last caller, my God. The Constitution is our salvation document. It is the only thing that can unify all Bahamians all over the country as one unified people.
Regardless of political persuasion.
Regardless of their political persuasions. The Constitution, and I asked that question several months ago.
Yes.
But no one was able to answer it. But he came up with it. They're listening to the show, and that's good. Now, Bahamians, keep listening. I'll be here on Mondays by the grace of God, because I ain't gonna stop. Ms. Malcolm right here, as long as she allow me to come in and management allow me to come in, I will continue to do it. The show is reaping good dividends for the Bahamian people. We are grateful for Global Radio for doing it, and them other fellas, we'll deal with them later. But now the message is getting across, Bahamians, let's push it even more. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas is our salvation document to unify all Bahamians of all persuasions. Praise God for that.
Thank you so much, Professor, for being here. I just want to say this before we get out of here. You know, one of the callers today talked about the fact that they pretty much say Ike, and they figure it's best to go take a shovel and go dig in somebody else's ground. Well, you know, they say the grass is always green on the other side. Maybe that's because the people on the other side water in their grass. If you want your grass to be greener, you need to start watering yours.
Amen.
I can let y'all marinate on that one.
Praise God.
Time is gone. Professor, thank you so much for being here
Thank you.
today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tomorrow on GPS, we have another thought-provoking show. Please make sure and tune in and become a part of that show. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks for joining us. You got to get out of here. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners
Be in the Bahamas.
Steve Harvey here from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Everybody knows that I love to chill out with great music.